What is up, everyone? It's Mr.StealUrGurl. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner, the GeForce experience that came with my graphics card decided to change up on me, so everything feels a whole lot different, and I am not liking it at all. Not because, change is scary, but it changes everything. So my sound might not be quite as good in this one, so I'm very unhappy. But anyhow, I could barely hear the game sound, which upsets me. I have to do this in full screen, which I don't really care for. But anyhow, I'm sorry to complain, guys. I don't particularly care for it. But anyhow, guys, on to the match. And I want to say thank you to everybody who is staying tuned to my channel and sticking it out through this tournament and watching me pretty much every week. So that is very much so appreciated, and I really want to say thank you so much for that. And also, if you guys are watching this and the sound quality is not quite as good, I apologize. That sucks. I will do my best to correct it in the future. But anyhow, let's see the players. The map is Arctic Refuge. It is round 2 of the losers bracket, and I hate calling it that, but that's what I have to call it. We got Kael, aka Ruiki. That's right, she is the orange UEF commander, dropping down a early land factory and putting down, air factory, and then a land factory, going to scout all the things that Knight has put down. NiteofMisfortune is the white Cyber commander, putting down a very risky research station and a land factory against a UEF player, which could be a very dangerous thing indeed. I'm going to speed this bad boy up to 3 to not 4. I call it 4 because the rush distance is a little far here, guys. And let's see, what is Knight building? He's building a high damage air tower right there. That is a good position for it. Another one. That is a large investment for seeing just one air unit. But I like the coverage there. It is rock solid. That is not bad air coverage at all. That's going to effectively shut down any air assault. That engineer right here may be in trouble, guys. And the 3 energy generators up front for NiteofMisfortune. And that nice Kael has some really, really nice micro there, and going to go for this mass extractor. Will this one lonely high damage air tower do it? And yes, it appears it does. I'm going to slow it down because that's a lot harder than I thought it would be, guys. I apologize. So a second land factory goes down for Kael, and there is a research station. Oh my goodness, as Kael shuts down the air factory. Now, this is a very crappy situation there for NiteofMisfortune because he just spent 2 400 plus mass on 2 high damage air towers, and he is investing in adapters. So he invested research points. So that's a very nasty thing to happen, but it might actually work out in his favor because look at these meteors. These meteors could be effectively shut down by these adapters. That is a very good move there for NiteofMisfortune, and I like how Kael is keeping her land factories assisted. Where is that? Yes, that is nice, except for doing it with 2 now that's even better there. Very nice. But doing it with 2 engineer type units isn't always the best thing to do. Now there are 3 land factories for NiteofMisfortune on the field. Within a lazy engineer, I don't like that. The engineer should most definitely be expanding outward. Now, it looks like Kael has the advantage here, and the advantage was because of these 2 high damage air towers that were hastily put up, which aren't a bad thing at all, but the bad thing of it is now NiteofMisfortune is way behind because of all that mass used. Now, another usage of mass, which is actually much better, but it's still kind of a painful thing considering that is 200 mass right there. That could be a factory here. Now, the factory count has evened up. There's a lot more attacking units for Kael than for Night of Misfortune. Night of Misfortune is pumping out a bunch of adapters, which is a good and a bad thing. Again, it's really good for protecting against these tactical missile launchers and the such, but they're not attacking units. They're just kind of just chilling there. But this point defense is in a great position to do some really good work, and that's the beauty of the adapters right there. They're absorbing most of those demolisher shots, so those are actually quite good. And those Brackman, those Brackman are nasty. So Knight has a very nice thing going on here with the Brackman, and unfortunately for him, we got Kael dropping down a land gantry. So a land gantry is on the field, guys. That it means fat boys are soon to come, and a strange place to put a rapid fire point defense, but my goodness, those adapters are really meat shielding it up for Knight. Knight is going to try to punch through with those units, but unfortunately, demolishers just do a really nasty work against those units there. Now, Knight is reclaiming. He's trying to get back some of that mass, which is a smart thing to do. And Kael put down a point defense. Nice job there by Kael. That point defense is going to help hold off Night of Misfortune's units. Now, Knight is ramping up the production of his land factories, and that is a nice land factory there by Knight of Misfortune. And unfortunately for Night of Misfortune, there is a fat boy being hastily constructed by Kael. There it is in all its fatness, glory of beauty, and that yummy mass is just chilling there, not being sucked up. Now, Night of Misfortune really needs to get in there and put the hurt on Kael, but Kael is doing the wise thing and putting some shields up and some point defense, just biding her time. She is really doing a wise thing here. Night of Misfortune really has to get in there and put the hurt on his opponent. And there's the first fat boy, guys. The first fat boy is very nasty, especially when you're Cybran and the numbers are this low, because the fighting that went down right here really made it so that numbers do not get up very high. But luckily for Knight, he's got several land factories pumping out so many units there. What's going to be built there? A research station. Not a bad thing at all, but now Night of Misfortune's really going to want to get jump jets and jump in there and do some damage, but those fat boys have such a long reach. Night of Misfortune is trying to PD creep. I don't know what he is trying to do here. That is, if that reaches a fat boy, I will be truly amazed. And it reaches his units, putting some hurt on. Night of Misfortune is trying to dance those units away from the fat boy fire, but they're really close. Kael refocuses the fire and takes out that point defense. So poor Night of Misfortune's point defense right there. The second fat boy. This is the critical time there for UEF. It is now pretty much has put a nail in the coffin of Night of Misfortune, because fat boys at this amount of fire, no shield is going to be able to do it unless they're stacked together. Now, these point defense are being whittled away. This land factory is being quickly demolished, just being eaten away. One fat boy is able to protect the other fat boy, which is really unfortunate for Night of Misfortune. Unfortunate for Night of Misfortune. Wow, and it appears he's experiencing a bit of misfortune. I'm just playing, guys. I'm sorry for that terrible joke. I didn't even realize I was making a second gantry going down for Kael. Kael is putting the hurt on Night of Misfortune, but Night of Misfortune still has a nice amount of units, and he could get in there and snipe those two fat boys if he could just get enough time. But those fat boys make it so hard to micro because there's just so much. Look at all that rain of damage, rain of pain going on right here. Now, Knight is going for an attack with his ACU. He does not want his commander walking in a straight line like that, because those really big shots are really hurt, and Night of Misfortune is being focused down by the units, and it looks like Night of Misfortune might have been baiting him, and oh my goodness, Night of Misfortune unfortunately had a misfortune as a third fat boy came out and did him in. That is super unfortunate for Night of Misfortune. And, you know, he's such a good player. He's got a great YouTube channel. I highly suggest you guys check that bad boy out, which I should have mentioned earlier, but I did not because I was too angry at my shadow play being no longer shadow play. It is now something new. So guys, I apologize for that. Look at Night of Misfortune's beautiful mushroom cloud. As we can see, Kael sitting there in the distance. That is a beautiful screenshot. If you guys want to screenshot that and use it for the cover of one of your videos, I would allow you, just as long as you give me a shout out in your video. Say, yo, Mr.StealUrGurl, you're a great Supreme Commander 2 photographer. But anyhow, enough of that. Night of Misfortune, I figured, would have gone even further in this what would you call it, tournament. But unfortunately for him, he got met with some really good opponents. So I am just upset that a friend of mine got ejected from the tournament. But unfortunately, that is how things go. So I apologize to you, Night of Misfortune. Thank you so much for playing in my tournament. You are such a cool guy and a great player. Thank you so much. And everyone out there, check out Empire Strategy. That's his YouTube channel. It has some really cool stuff. Last time I checked, it had some XCOM 2 content. I love XCOM. I haven't played XCOM 2, but it looks super good. And thank you for your videos, Knight, and thanks for playing. You are awesome for doing this and trying to keep the SupCom 2 community alive for as long as you did back in like 2014, 2015. But anyhow, awesome job against Kael. That was a good match, honestly. And Kael, you did really well biding your time against Night of Misfortune, just waiting for the perfect time to have a critical mass of fat boys. And unfortunately for Knight, he misstepped, and those fat boys were able to cause a unfortunate time for Night of Misfortune. So very good there for Kael. And Kael is moving on to the losers bracket round 3. I can't remember what map that is off the top of my head, but you guys could check that out at challenge.com, my tournament. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Great job, Kael. Great job, Night of Misfortune. And, you know, sorry for being annoyed there in the beginning of this video, but change is a hard thing for everyone, guys. But I'm just really hoping this doesn't mess up the quality of my videos. I don't think it would, because I don't think GeForce, NVIDIA is a company that would do that, would screw me over. So here's hoping, guys. But anyhow, everybody, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and you know what, guys? I love it when you comment me. I love just to hear from you guys. Say Arctic mushroom cloud, because that's what we're looking at here. It is super beautiful. It is a wonderful scene with those fatties there, a crater, and all that yummy mass just there for the taken. And yes, Alpha Hex, that yummy mass was just for you. Anyhow, guys, be sure to comment Arctic mushroom cloud, and you know, share with your friends, family, and foes. And as always, everyone, GG.